Green signal, Mel. Can't stop the signal. The signal is everywhere, Mel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are now listening to Beyond the Veil, a production of Holosuite Media. Tune in to our live show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The following live broadcast may not be suitable for all ages. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individual providing them and do not represent the opinion of this station, website, or any affiliated partners. Audience discretion is advised.
Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Beyond the Veil, your weekly podcast about the secret world. This episode is being recorded on 19th of March 2015 during a live broadcast coming to you over twitch.tv/Holosuite Media starting at 7 p.m. EST. I'm your host, Antita, and joining me for tonight's show are Griff.
Hello.
Veritas.
Hi there.
Xander.
Insert random funny thing here.
Az.
Insert following random thing. Hello. Let's start that one again. Hello.
No do-overs, not fair.
Mr. Gray.
Insert random and kind of off topic that makes you feel that it was a little bit borderline rude comment here.
And we have Gigabyte, who might not just be here, but he will be here for the show. So, very warm welcome, everyone. How have you been?
Oh, bloody good, actually.
Bloody good? Wow, is that kind of like separate good from just being good? Or being excellent?
It's a little bit higher on the scale.
Ah, okay. What about the rest of you guys?
Well, I'm looking forward to the partial eclipse tomorrow.
Yes. Me too.
Yeah, gonna have to be up
Now-
early.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be any clouds.
It's a full
well,
moon
it
at
was
my place
freaking
every
foggy.
night.
I haven't been able to get glasses to watch it, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'll be up for it.
You
Nice.
get a heap of black plastic?
You know, I've been Googling like a nerd to try and work out what I can do, like homemade. Because everything's sold out. All the glasses are all sold out.
Oh.
I know.
So are you able to is it still a partial one for you, or is it a full one? No, it's still partial.
94% eclipse?
Yeah.
Which is a show. What's 6% between friends? But yeah, it's a
Yeah,
94% partial eclipse. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's a highlight of my week. Apart from the show,
Yeah.
of course, but that's a highlight of my week.
Nice. Well, so getting to the game. Wow, what a week it has been for the secret world, right? There were so many different things happening, and getting prepared for the show was like, it's always like that, isn't it? When you're preparing for the show, like 4 or 5 days in advance, you're figuring out what you're going to talk on the show and how this is going to go and what's new and da-da-da-da-da. You started doing the show notes, and there's barely anything happening. most of the times. And then everything explodes on the very day that we actually have the show. And it's like, scramble, quick, add this, and we're going to talk about that. Or, and then at the end, you actually have to cut things out because we just don't have the time to talk about everything. So hopefully today we're going to have time to talk about at least the majority of stuff, because I already have 2 things marked. Yeah, if we get around to it. So first off, let's talk about the information we found out today, or rather the most 2 important bits of information. And someone's cutting and pasting or doing something. So,
Mr. Gray.
Gray's the
Maybe.
culprit. All right, so we found out that issue 11 will be coming out in April, and that it will be called Reaping the Whirlwind. Anyone else excited over this?
Super excited. I sound so dorky when I say that, but I don't care.
How is that dorky? What part about that is dorky?
I stand
I mean,
corrected.
you're talking to us here. Don't worry.
Okay, that's a valid point. Let's remember my audience here.
Yeah, your audience currently includes someone that Googled, how do I stare at the sun and still keep my eyesight? You're in good company.
Yay!
And don't take a selfie because it could blind you. Public information announcement.
I don't know, maybe just to play devil's advocate here, but part of me isn't looking forward to it because it's going to be the conclusion of Tokyo. Okay, I mean, here's a good simile. I mean, Game of Thrones, and you've got King Joffrey, who I hated and loathed and waited for him to die. And then we had the Purple Wedding where he died, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, what now? Huh. It's kind of sad that I'm sure they've got other stuff and we'll be going to new places and that, but it should be good.
So who do you think's going to die at the top of the Orochi Tower?
Me.
It's going to be the Orochi, right? Or no, hang on. There's going to be that Orochi that lived.
Flappy.
Remember? Flappy's going to be the Orochi that lived.
I think he'll look really good in an Orochi outfit.
Well, the thing is, there's going to be more than one Flappy.
Yeah, there's like Flapzillas all over the place. And I just love how the fact that we're all standing here. Aside from Antita, she's off somewhere.
Or me.
Somewhere. And
Okay.
we're all standing here in Orochi jumpsuits, and for some reason the only thing going through my head is go Power Orochi, do 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 do, go Power Orochi, you mighty morphin Power Orochi.
So that's the new outfit. Now, why are they dressed in this outfit, might you ask? Well, quite unexpectedly.
Because we're really stupid.
The hazard pay.
So quite
Hive mind.
unexpectedly, we had a new pack drop in on us. It's called The Fall of Tokyo, and it actually contains 2 previous issues plus another future issue. So it contains issues 9 and 10, which are Tokyo issues, and it will also contains issue 11 that has not been released yet. So when it releases, poof, there it is, right? So apart from those 3 issues, it also contains the 2 side stories that have been released so far for Tokyo, Love and Loathing and The Last Pagan. And as a side bonus, it also includes this beautiful Orochi pilot jumpsuit that everybody is sporting that I'm trying desperately to find in my dressing room so that I can put it on as well.
Yeah, it comes in 2 pieces. You've got the uniform body part and then a helmet you can wear as well. Now, is this the same uniform that Kurt
Yep.
Buster wears?
Yep.
I think so,
Cool.
yeah.
Maybe
And
we
you know
can
what?
use a pistol skin next.
Yeah, he's Zordon from the Power Rangers. He's that dude. But instead of being in a big crystal like tube, like a vacuum chamber, he's in a tank. And Orca723 in the chat channel says, "It's been a year and finally Tokyo's end is in sight." And then the only thing I can think is, it's been a year. Holy, really? It hasn't been a year. It's been like everyone's been talking about Tokyo since like the second month of the game. So it's going to be 3 years, and Tokyo is going to But
I'm sorry,
then
Xander,
they say,
I'm still shaking my head that you know who's who in the Power Rangers.
"Oh, dude, I know almost all of them. Me and my son sit and watch them. And recently, I just got him hooked on Star Sheriffs. Oh, 1980s flashback. But yeah, Orca also says the question is, what's next in the saga after Tokyo is put to bed? But you guys were talking about it, so I figured I just pointed in.
Everybody's making assumptions on where rather we are going to go next after Tokyo. So that's going to be really, really exciting. What do you guys think?
I think that's exciting. I think it's exciting that we're going to get to finally see our consequences, whether we like them when we get them or not.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember the choices that you made? Because some people actually have, done it with alts, like, for example, you, Gray.
I paid attention on my alts. On Mr. Gray, I honestly can't really... I think I sort of went 50-50 good, bad. As for the new zone, I'm suspecting Congo, because they do have a lot of the art assets, but at the moment it's really only speculation and conjecture, because the devs have been very, very tight-lipped, keeping their cards very close to their chests.
They haven't really. They told us all the clues are in the game. So, I guess with the new...
it could be anywhere, though, still. There are so many different places that the next area could be that are clues in the game.
Antarctica, for example. The Congo, for example.
Moonbase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of places.
There's New Orleans, South Africa somewhere, Guatemala. There's a whole heap of places that this could be.
I want to go to Atlantis. I want to swim with the fishes.
Why? Because it's underwater?
Hey, man. Mermaids are hot.
Stargate comes to mind whenever I hear Atlantis being mentioned. It's like, Stargate, please bring it back.
I'm trying so hard not to do a Don Corleone. You'll be sleeping with the fishes.
See, but first we got to get in the tower, and then we got to find the secret dev dance party, if you remember.
That's right. We got to find the secret floor with all the devs dancing and partying. It's like, yes, we finally pushed Tokyo out. We don't want to hear anything about Tokyo anymore.
Oh my god, that just sounds like we're in a delivery room. Push, breathe, remember your breathing. Oh my god, push out! Tokyo's finally pushed out, yay!
Quick, my prediction, and this is just purely a prediction, I'm suspecting Lilith will be she won't be killed, she'll be effectively sort of banished, and what's his name, the Hudaki whatchamacallit fella who...
Chandra?
That's the one, he will die. That's my prediction. Heard it here first.
Well, that's quite a big prediction. Would that herald the end of the age?
Possibly. I mean, there's still a lot of third age art assets in the game that haven't surfaced, like ox weapons and shotguns and things like that. They were in the game files since release.
I know that every once in a while I try to explain to one of my friends who doesn't play, what all we're looking forward in Tokyo. And it's when I'm trying to explain it to somebody who has no idea of anything, also without giving too many spoilers, it really kind of brings into perspective just how much story and how much lore has been building up to this.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the thing is, mostly when people start playing The Secret World, they get engulfed in the story. It's not, the battle simulation or, anything else in the game, but it's the story that gets them hooked. Or maybe it's even, the major reasons behind them starting to play this game. So hopefully the new have you noticed any new players in the game since the EP went live?
Oh, so many new characters are running around Kingsmouth at the moment. I don't know if they're new characters or new players though, but there are so many people there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, lots of people rolled out their alts as well, but there's lots of people on the forums posting questions, or they have been even prior to EP coming out. So yeah, there's definitely an influx of new players. Okay, but back to this Fall of Tokyo. So we do have, like I said, the entire pack contains those 3 issues, 9, 10, and 11, 2 side stories, and an exclusive outfit, which you guys can see on the live stream. So basically the full value of this pack is $56, but now is being sold as a complete Tokyo story pack for a wonderful price of just under $30, or well, 30 euros. In case of euros, that's actually a bit more than $30.
Can I do this one? Can I do this?
Go for it.
I've been practicing all afternoon. Actually, I've been practicing for like 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes, like 3 seconds. Okay. Yes, the Fall of Tokyo is now on sale for, yes, euro and dollar for 46. Sorry, see, like I told you, I was practicing for like 3 seconds, so give me a break, right? So, yes, for euro and dollar for 56. But wait, your savings, if you are now, your savings will be in euro and in dollars for $29.99. But wait, if you order now in the next 30 seconds, we'll throw in a Roshi Jump uniform free, absolutely free. All you have to do is go to your claim items. Yes, detours.
Call now. Operators are standing by.
You can see we're so professional. I practiced so hard on that. All you
Batteries
people
on
laughing
foot.
at me.
Well, the thing is, that's a sale of almost 50%. So that is a pretty sweet deal. And the thing is as well, I don't recall seeing anywhere any word on how long this offer will last. So hey, grab it while you can, folks.
Now, Xander, you mentioned, I haven't actually tried myself, but you mentioned that you hadn't been able to purchase it yourself, which is most likely because you already own all of the issues and the side stories. So it may well just be that, if you try and buy it, you've already got them. Just wait until April. That's the other awesome thing that they mentioned, that issue 11, it's coming in April. Not sure when
That's
in
the
April.
most important
Yeah, but
bit of information.
But the thing is, if you've already got all the side stories and all that sort of guff, then you can just wait until April when the Fall of Tokyo is released. You can buy that with your bonus points, or the collector's edition with your bonus points. I know I'm sort of speaking to subscribers and lifers here, but even just anyone that isn't a GM or a subscriber, if you've already got the other ones, you'll be able to buy the new issue come April. But if you've already got all the previous stuff at the moment, you may not be able to purchase it, kind of for obvious reasons, because you're not really going to get anything, because they've already given us the jumpsuit.
Yeah, so anyone who already owns issue 9 gets a $10 discount on the Fall of Tokyo. So if you already have issue 9 prior to today, you will get a $10 discount, and you will only pay $20 or 20 euros on the rest of it. Now, if you have already owned issues 9 and 10 prior to today, prior to Fall of Tokyo going live today, you will receive the Orochi Pilot jumpsuit outfit for free, just like we said. You can claim it from your claim section in the TSW's item store. If you don't see it in your claim section, please contact Funcom customer service, who will be able and ready to assist you. One thing also to note is that issues 9, 10, and then 11 that's about to come out, like Gray said, in April, those are just regular issues. You don't get any additional extras that, for example, buyers of the collector's editions got, like exclusive outfits, emote, or gadgets. Just making that clear. So, I mean, all in all, it seems to be a pretty sweet and nifty marketing move on Funcom's part. Something that I gotta say, at least on my part, I'm not used to seeing from them. So, looks like they're stepping up their efforts, and that is incredibly good to see.
Yeah, I had a friend or two who wanted to get the new content but couldn't afford all of them. So this bundle is going to give them a chance to get back in and try all the new stuff.
Go for it, Very.
I was just going to say, for those of us who are still working on pounds, I've just checked to see I only have issue 9, so I've still got 10 and 11 to do, and I'm going to be doing that in my summer vacation. But I couldn't quite work out if the discount of $10 and €10 applied to pounds, but it would appear it's £10. The total payment, if you have issue 9, for those of us that deal with pounds, is $16.99 now as well. This is a really good deal.
So you get £10 off. That's pretty good.
I know, because I was trying to work out, the pound is quite strong against the euro and the dollar at the moment, and I'm wondering, okay, how's this going to equate? But this is a really good offer, $16.99 for 10, 11, 2 side stories. Well, the 2 packs of side stories and the Orochi outfit. So that's
and
really
let's
good.
face it, there's a lot of content there as well. I mean, those side story packs has a lot more content than the original first few that came out.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's what I was
and
gonna
it's
mention.
pretty awesome.
Joel mentioned that the side stories hadn't actually sold that well. So, if you've been on the fence about it, honestly, they they really are well worth it. They're brilliant. They've got some great storylines, great characters, and this could just be what you need just to jump on in and have some fun.
Yeah, if you buy this pack, you're pretty much getting the 2 side stories for free, and you're just paying for the issues, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, in all, it is a pretty sweet deal. And if you can afford it, if you don't have those issues, if you don't have those side story packs just yet, or maybe you're just a new player who hasn't come to up to Tokyo yet, so you still have to purchase issues 5, 6, 7, and 8. I honestly, I would jump on this, and I would take this opportunity to buy it because it is really worth the money.
Can I say something quick? I'm watching all of us lined up in our Orochi uniforms, and we've got Xander dancing, and a bunch of us wearing our horse heads and wearing our horns and wearing everything. And I'm thinking, this is probably what Orochi recruitment looks like. This might be where their problem comes from.
That's why all the bad stuff happens to them. Orochis are like the red shirts of the secret world.
Yeah, I'm the one to the side with the drool coming out my mouth going, am I a pilot now? Do I get to fly a plane? I get to fly a plane, don't I?
Dude, your brain's on fire. Yeah, that's you.
We can neither
Yeah.
confirm or deny he has a brain. See, my Orochi drone keeps orbiting and scanning, but finds nothing.
Nice. All right.
I'm Orochi. I'm part of a team.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So another bit of news that we had this week, and quite a bit of excitement happening on the forums, was the forum ARG that started off on the 13th of March with the Agartha conductor providing clues and hints that we needed to tie together, and it kind of came to a completion today when the final clue was released early in the day, and the solution was found by, I do believe it was a player called, I'm going to butcher the name, HSEKIU. So you tell me how that's pronounced. I don't even know. It doesn't sound English. HSEKIU? I don't know. Anyway, he or she pretty much posted the solution. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Basically, I don't know, should I read it out loud, or what do you guys think?
Or could we play the recording? Do you have the recording?
No.
There were multiple recordings.
Yeah, there were, but
the last one contains all of them.
Yeah,
Oh, good
exactly.
point.
And it's much clearer. Basically, it's speak, record your greatness, believe in your biography, dress in this dimension, craft by your own hands, capture the moment. Eventually, everyone shows up. RUTSW. And then today, what was cracked is what we're supposed to do with that. The message basically read, you have found the clues, we told you what to do, now go and tell the hawk what we said. 8 shall enjoy an end and a way to cap off this happening. You have 24 hours starting now. Good luck. So, basically, first 8 people to contact Tomium and tell him the solution have won themselves an in-game hat and will get a heads up on the contest that was announced already. So I guess they got the heads up a few hours before everybody else.
Yeah, it took them 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was, just for the record too, it was noted in the forums that there were pieces of the puzzles that we never completely resolved.
Yep.
We were told that they weren't necessarily going to help us anymore or not, but there are pieces there if anybody wants to toy with them.
And the thing is, they also came out with the date, the 27th of March of this year. They came up with that date. There's no word yet of its significance, but the person who cracked the ARG did post something interesting as well. I'll just read it out. He or she, yet again, I'm not sure. Is it a he or a she, or maybe an it? You never know. They said, I'm just going to put something out there. The fact that there were 8 winners, recipients of hats, there's a hidden meaning there. In the first ARG, The Rabbit Hole, a letter mentioned who are the 8, and later in the Everything is True trailer, the 8 watch over us. Obviously, the winners are not this fabled 8, but it is an interesting reference.
Well, the 8 would obviously be the corporations of Orochi, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. There's going to be 8 floors, each one for one of the corporation of the Orochi, yeah.
One of the heads of the dragon.
I really like, by the way, I like the way they did this ARG. I know there were some people impatient since we were getting the message, a piece at a time over the course of days, but I think that really helped allow more people to participate, as opposed to when you put it all on there, sometimes solve it in a day, and if you've missed that day, then you're out of luck to help with anything.
Now, there was another interesting thing that I saw on the forums. Pseudoscientist posted asking people if they have noticed the background sound of fire in Agartha recently. Have you?
I don't have my sound on, so no.
Yeah, I actually have my sound off as well.
So do I. I meant to investigate that, though, because that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, because when people... Go for it, Ez.
Let me just try something, see if you can hear this. I mean, keep going on the conversation while I put on an item.
When you put on an item? Okay. So yeah,
All right. Can you hear burning now?
well, you need to press your
No,
button.
in game. In game.
Oh,
We're all
I
standing
have.
around in Agartha.
Yeah, I have the sound turned off.
Right. Well, I took out the torch that we have in the London Underground, and now I can hear burning in Agartha. So
I
it
don't
could be
hear
that what
anything. Yeah,
it could be that what people were hearing was the torch.
yeah, that was one of the things that someone had mentioned as well on that thread. But yeah, it could be an interesting piece of information. It might very well be absolutely nothing. But
Well,
it is
we were
funny.
informed we were informed that we were super overthinking all of the things by the end. So there is
Yeah,
that.
but that's what you get for, giving us an ARG and then expecting us not to overthink it. I think that's not how it happens.
No,
We
no,
overthink
I'm not leaving
everything.
not leaving myself out of it at all.
I'm
And
just
then
looking at the
Psygnosis.
writing of everything, and the one I feel quite not well, sort of sorry for, but I mean, surely he must be feeling the pressure now. Must be Scrivenermancer, because he's built this storyline all the way up. We've had this well-written ARG, and we're coming to the conclusion of Tokyo. Surely he must be feeling the pressure that a lot of it has been building to this, and is this going to be his masterstroke for the storyline?
Well, it is the end of the first book, so to speak. So there's this big culmination point happening with the release of issue 11, because you're finally going to get a whole bunch of answers. You'll see where your choices led you to. So it's definitely, honestly, kind of following up on what I had asked you guys before. Do you remember your choices? I remember my choices, but I still want to do the entire storyline, especially now that it's much easier in the game. I want to do it on my alt, so that way I can get immersed in the story again and figure out, where it's taking me. Can't wait.
Me
I want
either.
April. Okay, just for the record, I want April to be here, like the end of April to be here, for more than one reason. Some people will know, some people won't, but that's okay. TSW is always one of my reasons.
I am also excited. I know we all kind of went off on the issue 11 again because we're excited,
Yeah.
but I am also very excited about this new forum competition to see what everybody comes up with.
Yeah, so that has started up today as well. As you wanna bring us up to speed on that?
Yes, the first round is going to start in a couple of days. So on the forums, there is now a new sub-forum area called the I Am TSW contest. And the first round is the audio round, where you just have to submit up to 3 minutes of audio describing why you like TSW, your character, or what keeps you coming back for more. It's not music, there's going to be a music contest later on, but just any sort of audio that you can cram into 3 minutes about the game. The main bit is you have to include in your audio your username or your forum username, your character name, and the hashtag IamTSW. So entries today are going to open on March the 23rd, so you've got a couple of days to plan it, and then the round will last for 2 weeks, so you've got plenty of time to come up with it. Should we talk about prizes? Have you seen the prizes for this?
They weren't joking when they were teasing us that they were doing a massive thing.
Well, the thing is, where does it say? Because I'm right there and I only see a few of the prizes.
There's three lots for this round.
There's those 3 lots. Sorry, and then if you read the actual contest rules PDF thingy, it lists the Funcom prizes on there too.
Nice.
which was
Yeah,
like,
I've been asleep for the last few hours. Hi. I need to take a nap before I do the show because it's very late my time. I'm just that old.
well, I'm trying to remember, but I think the grand prize from Forum I think included like a lifetime membership. I mean, it was really good stuff.
Wow. Nice.
I don't
So it's
remember that.
basically a GM account.
Yeah, that lifetime membership is in the rules PDF, but it's not mentioned on the forums anywhere. Currently, the forum lists each contest, the grand prize winner will get one of those shot glasses with the Secret World logo on it. And this bit's cool. You get a shirt in the game with your name on it. So that sounds pretty good. You get Funcom points, faction dog tag. You get the mystery boxes, a
set
custom
of
forum
tags.
title. A set of faction dog tags, so you get all 3 of them. And a participation t-shirt. So that's what Funcom are putting into these
Well,
competitions.
Deep Mystery, also the Deep Mystery box and custom forum title. And,
Yeah, there's a whole bunch there.
That's from Funcom.
And Tomium did confirm just a little bit before we went live that if you're in a cabal or a group that donated prizes, you can still participate. He said it would be a jerk move if you're helping to judge and you judge for your own thing, but he's not going to tell anybody that they can't participate just because their cabal donated prizes or what have you.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a huge amount of people from the community that participated by donating prizes as a member of a certain group, or even members of maybe several groups. So that would kind of exclude a lot of people. So yeah, good move on their part not to exclude them.
Yeah, this first audio round is being sponsored by Radio Free Gaia, Omnidatum Optimum, and the Gridstream Productions. So you can get onto the forums and see what they are putting up for offer for this round. And I
do
believe...
I do like some of the prizes that the cabals are offering, I have to admit.
Yeah.
I think I might be in a minority. I'm not actually interested in any of the prizes. I just want to take part just for the fun of it and just to see what other people come up with. I mean, prizes are nice, but what really stands out with the Secret World for me is just the people that play it. And I've met so many awesome people that are incredibly creative, and just seeing what people come up with,
Well, if you're over on Twitter, if you check out the IMTSW hashtag, it is already full of just the nicest things people are saying about their experiences with the community and why they love the game, and it's really great.
Yeah, I saw someone's dog is the Secret World.
Yeah.
No, I have to admit, I mean, the community for this game is absolutely fantastic, but I mean, as far as the prizes go, Radio Free Gaia, I have to admit, one of their top one listed here is a commission for a character bust portrait by one of their staff members. For someone like an RPGer and a role player in the game, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, there's many different aspects of this contest that it will be represented throughout the contest, because as I understand it, this contest is going to take weeks, and it's going to be different things, and there's going to be, basically it's going to be a weekly thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, each week there's going to be a new round starting, so there's going to be 8 different things that we get to join in on here, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yay!
Look, obviously Tomium and Sesmara have, had quite a hand in this, but I really want to tip my hand to everyone that's been involved with this. It's a brilliant idea, and I think it'll be a hell of a lot of fun.
I love the way that I think they really have successfully designed it so anybody can participate. If they just did videos, there's some people who maybe don't like having their face out on the internet. Well, they can do the audio one. There's going to be so many different options.
Exactly. It's not limited to just one thing and one thing only. And Tomium was very careful to point that out previously, that all aspects of the game will be represented in this. So yeah, hats off to them for putting something like this.
Yeah, if we go back to what the conductor was saying, the speak, record your greatness, do we think those are all clues as to what the rounds are going to be?
I'm leaning towards
Ooh.
it. Yeah.
Record your greatness. What would so that would be the next one? How would you record your greatness?
Well, you could record in game you achieving something awesome. Dungeon runs, maybe?
Craft by your. You know what, Az? I think you might be onto something there. Because there is 8 bits in there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that it could mean.
No, there's 7. There's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Well, the 8th one might be, the big thing, because there's going to be the winner of every round, so to speak, gets entered for the ultimate grand prize, right? At least that's what it says in the rules.
Yeah, for the list applying, I know Tomium had commented he made a point that this first round was the audio round and the first answer was speak, and that the ARG in big letters may have something to do with the contest. So I would guess yes.
Yeah, and sorry, someone was trying to say something. No, go for it.
I was sort of following this when it first sort of cropped up on the forums when, the conductor first started mentioning it. I think the second one, they sort of deciphered it, and there was something like 8 or so trial keys that they were giving out. And I must admit, at that point, my cynical mind sort of went, this is just something from marketing. Oh well. But it's actually so much more. It's nice to be proven wrong.
And to be fair, the marketing that was in there, how often have we complained that they don't do enough marketing?
Yeah.
Often.
So adding marketing into the
Fair
ARG.
I'll say no more. I really need to bite my tongue on that subject.
Okay, right. Okay, let's be cynical here. They're doing marketing, but they're getting us to do it for them.
I'm pretty sure we've begged to do that before. Haven't players begged, can we please do commercials for you?
I would love
Yeah, but
to.
isn't that the point of an ARG? Even before, it's the players who kind of create the hype over it, spreading the word on it and, finding solutions to it. It is up to the participants, right?
I would say yes, but could I get their salary for it, please?
Yeah, but the thing is, we promote the game anyway as players.
Yeah, we
simply
do.
because we absolutely adore the freaking game. It is absolutely fantastic. And if you're not playing it and you're listening to this, get on it. Be TSW.
I am still super glad there was more to it than just the keys. Just to be fair, I am also glad that there was more to it than that.
I mean, to go into a little bit more depth with what you've just been saying, I mean, Secret World's got amazing story, really fun game, but one of the biggest selling points really has got to be the community. It's just so many awesome people. I've played some other MMOs, and just being honest, they're a bit of a cancer, really, and I've never come across anything that attracts people of the caliber of the Secret World players. I mean, there's a reason I've been hanging around for so long.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. We started talking about the hashtag, or rather, I am TSW. Well, there were 2 new hashtags that were kind of born this week. If you're following Beyond the Veil's Twitter feed, you'll notice that there have been 2 pretty cool ones in the mix lately. First, we have the I want TSW hashtag. This one is connected to the Epic Forum contest that went live today. So when tweeting about TSW, let's embrace it and get it out there for the whole world to see. It seems to me that this hashtag I want TSW is about the feeling of pride to be in the secret world, to be part of our amazing community. What do you guys think?
The I want TSW was connected to one of the early parts of the mini ARG. They were wanting people who did not have the game to tweet that out, and then it was those folks that they were tweeting out the codes for, if I remember correctly. Like the forum message,
Yeah.
somebody had actually translated it out to, like, to those of you not in Agartha, at Funcom, I want TSW.
Yeah, but it kind of caught on fire.
Yes,
And
yes, it
people
did.
have been posting it and using the hashtag, and it's absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Now, the other hashtag, I do believe has something to do with TSW's RP community, who might have come up with it. Not sure who the credit actually belongs to, but it would be great if you could contact us and tell us how this hashtag was born if you're listening to this or you're going to listen to it. It is hashtag Secret World Movie Adaptations. Have you guys seen it?
Want needs to be done.
So what it is, basically, what you do is you take a name of a movie and you adapt it to the secret world. And there have been a whole bunch of movies already adapted to TSW. So just to kind of give you an idea, for example, How Gaia Got Her Groove Back, How to Train Your Illuminati, Chasing Amy Legend, A Draug Named Wanda, Gone with the Filth, One Flew Over the Flappy's Nest, and Filthy Shades of Grey, Pleasant Filth, The Rise of the Filth Guardians. There's a whole bunch of them. So do jump in if you have, your own TSW movie adaptation in mind with the hashtag Secret World Movie Adaptations. It is pretty, pretty cool. I've seen at least like 30 of them just this afternoon.
Whoever came up with Chasing Amy Legend, I wish that was me. I wish I had thought of that. Well done.
I think it was insane. I think.
Well done.
Yeah, whoever came up with Chasing Amy Legend had a number of different ones, and they were all pretty cool. All right.
Kill
What's up?
Lilith.
Now, just as a side note, just to let you guys know, if you haven't picked up on it already, Tilty, the lead designer for The Secret World, or his real name, Roman Amiel, he's now on Twitter, and you can find him at Roman Amiel. I kept calling him Romain. I don't know why. Poor Tilty. Another thing that kind of caught my attention on the forums is something posted by Scriv. He posted a photo saying that it was the perfect visual representation of what receiving a message from the buzzing feels like. And it was this skull. It's like almost like a beehive with bees come on top of it, and it is pretty cool. I don't know, Xander, if you can go into the show notes and put it on the live stream for people to see, but it's pretty cool, especially coming from Scriv. maybe that's how his brain feels like, something, with 1,000 little bees and buzzing around in his head, giving him all this cool stuff. Yeah, I'll go with that.
I wonder if Scriv is a person who gets ASMR then. That's what that feels like.
Yeah.
Feels like buzzing in your head is fantastic.
Yeah, Orca, there is a Secret World movie. It's called In Real Life, but I'm not sure if it's available across the pond. Is it a Norwegian one?
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
Norwegian language movie.
It's a movie about a gamer who finds life inside and outside of the game. There's also a movie called The Immortal Instrument, City of Bones. It's a book series that, if you read the series or if you watch the movie, it's like straight out the Secret World, except for there not being Illuminati, Templar, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, Swedish, not Norwegian.
Swedish. Yeah, I figured. I remember it was Scandinavian. I picked the wrong country. My apologies. All right. Anything else on the subject of new stuff that came out today before we move on? Yes? No?
I think we
Cohen?
managed it all. I almost feel like I should check the forums again. There keeps being new stuff. That's a
Yeah,
totally
I
messed up
know.
sentence.
I know, by the
Issue
time
11, April. Issue 11, April. Issue 11, April.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you guys should kind of take from this is that issue 11, the final chapter in the story so far, is coming out in April. Squee! Can't wait. And yeah, pay attention to those floors because you never know when you'll see the devs dancing over there. All right, go for it.
Yeah, I love games that have secret developer levels. There are, I think Chrono Trigger, Might and Magic 6, all sorts of games that have this secret level where all the NPCs are named after developers.
Well, they can still surprise us. They're pretty good at incorporating things into the game. So you never know. Who knows? We might be saying, "Oh man, we should have been careful what we wished for."
Oh, you know what, quick. On the topic of why we love TSW and why it's great, I was reminded of one of the reasons last night, actually. One of my friends wants me to get in another MMO with him, and I needed to get on the same server as him, and he was on a super populated server. Couldn't create a character till 4 in the morning. And I just kept thinking, you know, if this was the secret world, I wouldn't have this problem.
Yep. Do not step away from TSW.
Oh God, that was horrible. Like refreshing it every 3 minutes. Just come on, I just want to make a character.
What wasn't?
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, right.
I
Yes, you'll have
did,
fun
in
with
fact-
that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did get talked back into that, knowing that that somebody I haven't seen for a while was gonna want to run.
As I say, you'll be back here soon enough. I've tried that
Oh,
game.
this is gonna remain my important game.
Yes, it better be.
I already not to knock anybody who loves Final Fantasy 14, but the demo I played, yeah, no, this is head and shoulders above.
For cheesy, for a
It's the
cheesy Final Fantasy
nostalgia.
game, it gets it. Yeah, it does a lot of things right. And if it goes by to play, I'll be jumping back into it, much like the Elder Scrolls Online did yesterday.
I have to admit, the newest version of that game is a lot better than the first version they brought out. But I don't know what it is. Every single like MMO I go to just doesn't have what it takes to keep me interested, like Secret World does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Secret World just ruined all other games for me.
Yeah.
It's awful. I kind of hate it a little bit for that. Just a little.
You got those
Yeah, but that's a
love-hate
good thing to
relationship going.
hate.
Well, it's not an MMO, but Book 2 of Dreamfall Chapters came out pretty recently, so you know, there's that.
Did I just say that it was a good thing to hate? No, no. I retract that statement.
Well, it leads nicely onto our next point, really, doesn't it?
Alrighty. So, going back to what is new in the Secret World, we seem to have been having some issues with tanking since update 1.11 came out, with some players reporting frequent loss of hate generation while tanking, especially if the tank isn't fully geared or isn't a DPS tank, which end game tanks can dish out a lot of damage, surprisingly. Heal tanking has also, or seems to have encountered the same hate generation problem, even more so than the regular tanking. So there's been there's a huge thread on the forums going on about it right now, and debating which one generates more hate, AoEs, because AoEs have been nerfed. So is it better to take AoE like Blade Torrent or Escalation versus single target abilities like Brandish, Binding Wounds? Even though Blade Torrent and Escalation, they're builders that generate a lot of hate, so tanks usually use either of the two, whereas Brandish and Binding Wounds are single target consumers that also generate hate. So I don't know. Do you guys think that, these new changes to AoEs, does it kind of signal the end of DPS tanks, or probably not so much DPS tanks, but maybe heal tanks? Or do you think it's not
I
gonna...
don't think so.
Can I just ask, what on earth is a DPS tank? It's not a tank term I've ever heard before in any other MMO I've played.
It's basically a tank that has a lot of damage output. So you combine DPS and tanking stats and abilities in order to dish out even more damage. So you need to be quite well geared for that one in order to hold aggro against, another player who might be dishing out a lot more damage than you. That's why I said it's usually for... Oh, trust me, it's very efficient. When you have a DPS tank, everything goes down a lot faster and smoother.
Wow.
Well, to be
yeah,
honest,
sure.
when you're tanking, you don't want to be stacking pure health anyway. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
I've been
A
doing
lot
a
of
fair
people
bit of
go down
testing
that
with
route.
the League of Monster Slayers guys, and the basic consensus we're getting is target builders, they are going to be superior for hate generation. So, if you are having issues, then yeah. But the vexing augments, absolutely awesome. All of a sudden, signets of hatred now actually have a use.
Have a point.
Yep.
It's some people are crying doom and gloom, chicken littling, going the sky is falling. But the
Oh.
reality is, it's not really that bad at all. It just takes some minor adaptations. And hey, look, if the DPS have got to hold off for, 2 or 3 seconds, so be it. Big whoop.
DPS have always got to do that. I've never played a game where you can attack straight away. I always, force of habit, always wait at least 2 or 3 hits from the tank before I start DPSing. Maybe it's force of habit, but it always works out perfectly fine for me.
Well, it was kind of unnecessary prior to the changes. You didn't have to wait. You could just pop everything and just roll your face across the keyboard. And now you've actually got to, pay a little bit more attention. Big whoop. I mean, they're admittedly, for the people that are well geared, then it is a lot easier to adapt and deal with these changes. But even if your gear's not that great, then if the team can work as a team, then it's not a problem.
No.
Yeah.
No. Bad, Grey. Bad.
When I
We
know when
must
I
be
was
able to just roll our faces.
when I was first coming into the game, I remember I thought it was really weird. Now I don't tend to tank anyway, but I thought it was really weird going onto the forums where everybody was saying, "Oh, don't bother with any of those hate passives. Oh, don't bother with any of that. You don't need those for tanking." And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you could basically pull everything off with Blade Torrent and Agitator.
Yeah.
And you put in stoicism in there even back then, and absolutely fine. But now it seems that you got to go down to those very basic tanking abilities that people have almost forgotten that they exist, simply because now there is an increased need. And I think that the role of a tank in this game, even though, mind you, there was quite a bit of a shortage of tanks out there, and there's a lot of people who are probably like me who don't feel confident tanking for a pug group, but they will do it for their own group. So even if they derp or even whatever happens, it's like you basically start laughing about it, rather than getting criticized by someone who hasn't done it that way, or who just has different ideas of how things should be done. And yeah, I've encountered a number of people commenting on different things and telling me off, and it's like, dude, I've been doing this for a long time. I always do it this way. What is the big idea? And
I
yeah,
honestly don't think that we're going to see very much of a change in the volume of tanks and available tanks. Okay, this sounds mean, but it's just my opinion. If someone gives up on tanking, then realistically they're a bad tank and they weren't willing to adapt.
yeah. Uh, I I think any player who comes into the secret world now will probably be, when it comes to tanking, will probably have a little bit of a tougher time. Because there's a lot of, when you start doing the nightmare runs, even with people from Noobmares, Noobmares is an awesome channel that has a lot of experienced people in there. So a lot of them actually take it upon themselves to run new tanks through and tell them exactly what they need to do, where they need to position themselves, what they need to impair and stuff like that. Even though impairing might soon become a thing of the past if you listen to Tilty and Joel, and they are more interested in creating different kinds of mechanics and kind of not making everything interruptible. So who knows? The dungeon revamp is still coming up, right? They haven't. This was just a part of the ability shake up and update, and I don't want to say nerf because that wasn't their intention. But yeah, so there's still going to be changes that are going to make it into the game, especially dungeons. So we'll see where everything takes us. But yeah, it seems that for now, at least, new tanks might have, if they try to be a DPS tank when they just get into the nightmares, even though they might know mechanics, they might, know everything, have the right abilities, but they might not have the stats to pull it off. So they keep on losing aggro to, I don't know, a DPS or a healer who starts overhealing before the tank actually engages. So there's, for now, guys, when doing the dungeons, you need to adapt. You need to, even as a DPS, which a lot of the times DPS hate, is slotting subtlety in order to help with an aggro issue.
In all honesty, Antino, I have to take the opposite stance on that. I don't actually think new players coming into the game would have any problems with tanking DPS or healing for that matter. Just because it seems as though with these changes to in 1.11, and with the introduction of gear score, I'm not calling it a fusion rating. I'm calling it gear score. It just seems like they're pretty much moving towards the same mechanics as most other games have, like World of Warcraft, EverQuest, and things, all the other games like this. I honestly don't think the new players coming into the game will have that much of an issue.
Could I just come in there from a
Mhm.
PvP
Go
aspect?
for it.
We have a problem with tanks taking aggro, and we have a problem with DPS who are getting aggro. So there's a lot of our tanks in PvP won't slot agitator, a lot of DPS won't put in subtlety, and it can cause a bit of a problem. I'm talking mostly about the custodians and Fusang,
Mm-hmm.
where unfortunately, well, or fortunately, or whatever way you want to look at it, when you come into PvP, I mean, it's not usually as although you're in a group, you usually sometimes have to play a bit more on your own. So I think for us, we're maybe trying to be all things to all people,
Yeah, I
if
think
that
the
makes
biggest
sense.
I think the biggest issue will become from people that have been playing the game for a long time, like the original people that started playing before live, that have gotten used to the way that the old tanking system works, the old DPS system works, things like this. They're the ones that are going to have the hardest time adapting to what is the traditional way of tanking almost. Because, like I say, I mean, take DPSing in some of the other games, you used to having to manage your hate generation just because you do out DPS the tank quite a lot in other games. Same with healing. I honestly, I think the biggest problem is going to be with people that have been playing the game for a while.
Yeah, but this is, I probably didn't express my opinion in the way that I had actually thought I was. This was one of the things that I was trying to refer to, that because of this well-geared players in the game right now, new people coming into tanking might have an issue there, and a lot of the times, because even without this aggro issue, I know that even before the EP, I used to get the aggro swap to me, and it was only on a builder on Bloodline, and I would wait because I'm used to tanking, and I would wait on purpose for the tank to, get a few blade torrents in there. But still, I would get aggro, especially after, I don't know, for example, Varangian in Polaris, boss 3, I believe it is. After he or goes under, and then you get those ads, and then the Varangian goes back up. It's like, no, stop looking at me. And you kind of go down, it doesn't matter. You can try. I tried so many times hitting the leech potion because karma wouldn't cut it. And yeah, it just didn't work. So, but it's down to me, so I have to manage it. And also, one thing that I wanted to point out, like when it comes to different roles, what could you do in your role in case your group actually does have some hate generation issues? Like for a tank, obviously, you could slot more hate generating abilities. That includes actives and passives, not to mention augments. But augments, not everybody has them. So like you've pointed out previously, vexing is a great one. Actually, as a tank, I have a level 5 on my builder, so that way I make sure that when I hit something, it hits it for quite a lot of hate, and I can make sure that I actually keep the aggro. Also, signets of hatred, like you guys pointed out, so it's the tanks might, at least not the end game ones who already know everything, who crunch up the numbers, who do the testing, but a lot of the newbie tanks starting out, they'll probably go for a lot of the tanking abilities, and that's going to be the way to go, and then kind of once you get your group going, you can even say in group when you're in a dungeon, would you mind if I swap this for that just to see if I can do more damage without losing aggro and stuff like that. So always talk to the people in your group. Most of the times, at least if they're from Noob Bears, they're going to be really helpful, and they're going to be willing to experiment, especially now, just to see what they can pull off.
Yeah, I'm
Well-
not sure I'd go on, Griff.
Oh, thank you. There's passives that you can slot as a DPS too, other than just holding off. There's things like subtlety and misdirection. I know I was slotting
Yeah.
subtlety for a while on world bosses because I have no idea how, but every once in a while I would actually grab the hate from a world boss, and I am not a tank, so.
Yeah, that's true. Misdirection active. If you're a DPS, first off, wait for the tank to get at least 2 or 3 hits on the boss before engaging in the fight. That's always the safe way to go anyway. If you do happen to get aggro, wait for that. If that doesn't help, like Griff suggested, slot subtlety, there's confuse, then there's misdirection. Misdirection active can be used by just one member of the group. You don't need to have the tank. You need to have the tank as your defensive target, though, if you fire off misdirection, because it will go back to the defensive target. The hate goes back to the defensive target. Sorry,
It's
Az, you
also
wanted to say
with,
something?
Oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think a Signet of Hatred is going to make much of a difference over a good. It's definitely not with a Signet slot, whereas using something like a single target consumer with Agitator is going to be much better.
I
Instead
think
of
a
just
lot of
using
it's
clearing the
also-
path spam. Something, yeah, right, yeah. Instead of just using clearing the path spam, something like binding wounds, which is a consumer that builds additional hate, single target, that's going to do the trick for you.
It's also worth bearing in mind that, the dust is starting to settle now. People are adapting to the changes. Take tanking New York Raid, for example, just took a few attempts just to sort of work out what worked and what didn't. As was mentioned, vexing was helpful, but for the tank swap, for instance, you wouldn't use misdirection, and they changed the way they swapped. Instead of using provoke confuse, they started using provoke and stoicism. It's just revisit the wheel. You've got all these abilities, and just if you've got a slot one, I lose an ability, suck it in, cupcake. This is just adaptation, and as long as the boss gets dead, that's all that really matters, isn't it?
Yeah, there's also under the radar passive, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
That's something healers can equip too, because if a healer pre-heals in a lot of these fights, it will actually start the fight. If you're not careful, it happens more than once that the healer all of a sudden goes poof.
When
It's
you
like,
when you said when a healer pre-heals, all I could hear in my mind was Professor Zoidberg. You are bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah, they pay with their life when it comes to that. Just like a DPS that goes in, Leroy Jenkins. Yeah, but the thing is, it's as always, when you play in a group, you're a part of a team. So work as a team. It's not, a lot of the times people have gotten used to, because there was no changes to any of the abilities and everything worked like a charm. People have been, left to certain cookie cutter builds for different roles, and it comes to a point where after so many months of doing it, you basically go in and get out. Now you're, like Gray said, you're forced to kind of adapt a bit. And if you have issues, there's lots of people out there who have absolutely no issues whatsoever, tanking or no tanking. So, fair enough. But if you do have certain issues with taking aggro or holding aggro, it's time to adapt. It's as simple as that.
Remember, kiddies,
And never
there
be
is
afraid
no
to
I
ask
in
for help.
team. Remember, kiddies, there is no I in team, but there is a me if you look very carefully.
What was that, Gray?
I was just saying, never be afraid to ask for help. If someone nerd rages at you for asking for help, then maybe they're
not
not
worth
really a
asking
sort of
for
person
help.
that you really want to actually bother grouping with in future.
Exactly.
Orca says, I like cookie cutter builds. Tell me how to be awesome. You know what, Orca? I think we're going to give you a little prize for that. Because we did say that we're going to be giving out some prizes. So yeah, if you want to contact Xander in game and tell him what Xander with a Z, tell him what kind of or which faction dog tag you would like. We can and also provide him with your physical street address. Or you can also mail it to beyondtsw@gmail.com, and we'll have sent one to you ASAP.
We'll have Igor come around and deliver it for you.
Is Xander here? Xander!
What?
Did you hear what I said?
Nope.
Orca will be contacting you in game. All right. So another thing that we wanted to talk about is, we already mentioned it, the effusion rating, or also known as gear score. But let's not call it gear score. Why?
Gear score.
Because no. So it was initially called, we heard Joel mention on his interview with us that it was initially called Gear Score, and the entire dev team went up in an uproar. It's like, no, you can't call it Gear Scores. So they came up with a fusion rating, and then the marketing team still managed to send out an email with the gear score in there, just despite them, just for good measure. Just kind of say, yep, we can do it, and we did it. So what?
I can kind of understand the uproar. I was playing World of Warcraft back when Gear Score, the mod, first came onto the scene, and it was a cancer.
Hence why I will not call it a fusion rating.
Yeah, it was mainly used as a tool to discriminate and exclude players, which is not really a cool thing. We play games for fun, not to be told, I'm sorry, you're not good enough. I mean, really? Really, people?
I feel like the people that were already being exclusionary were already doing that with 10.5.5, but I'm also seeing it from a different point of view as somebody who was just fairly recently trying to explain the game to somebody. And part of that was explaining, okay, well, yes, you have green gear and it's this amount of good, but then this blue gear is this amount of good, and then this other gear is this amount of good. So for a beginning player, I can see how that would help.
Just on a side note, does anyone know what the word effusion means?
They were
'Cause I did some
discussing it on the
research on
forums
this.
one day.
Yeah, I did some research on this because I saw that name and I thought to myself, that can't be right.
What? An instance of giving off something such as a liquid or gas. An act of talking or writing in an unrestrained or a heartfelt way.
It's basically the process of
Sounds like
gas
me
passing
after a
through
night out
small
drinking.
hole. Yeah, it's basically the process of gas or liquid or stuff passing through a hole.
Yeah, I see it as like how, physically how
It's
well we effuse
fusing.
anima. Like we're just oozing anima.
It is funny though, yeah.
It's just the things that conjures, gas or
Yeah.
liquid passing through a hole.
I
I get
detect
it.
the influence of Scriv.
I should note I do get why people are uncomfortable with it because I've been in other games that were horrible about gear scores. Just absolutely, you had to be so overgeared for the instance you wanted to run that it was like, why do you even have the bar set this high?
I'm just wondering why they've even done that. Why they even sent out the email with that. It just is beyond me why that would happen. But that's
I'm
another
guessing
story.
new players.
Yeah,
I'm-
I
yeah.
basically think that they created that email before the name change, and then they just forgot to change it. But that's how, for the sake of storytelling, that's how it was told to
Yeah,
us.
we'll go with that, Antida.
Is your gear score like publicly viewable by other people,
Oh, that's a good
You know,
question.
or is it
I
just
don't know.
available to you?
Okay, when I inspect Mr. Grey, oh no, so this is Xander, I cannot see his gear score anywhere
No,
on that
no.
page.
I'm inspecting insane.
I'm
Hi,
expecting
insane.
Azak.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not happy and I feel ripped off because mine's 103. So not cool.
Well, aren't you fans? 103, how'd you manage with that?
I'm
I
still
feel
lacking
severely inadequate. Mine's like
astral
89, so
astral fuses.
The thing is, I have 10.5s in this build, and the rest is 10.4, and I only have 100. It's like, why? It's supposed to be more, and I do have certain other builds when I put them on.
I'd check
I
your
do go
gear. You've probably
104.
got another piece. You've probably got a item there that that is a lower level. Because I got 103, but I'm full 10.5, but my glyphs are about half 0.5.
Mm. So yeah, we're talking about the effusion rating or gear score. So the idea behind it was, as Tilty explained, to help players better understand how good their gear is and how their current gear actually compares to the newly looted gear or drops that they get while gaming. Now, the highest gear score, or pardon me, effusion rating that you can get is 105. And that is, as we've been talking, if you're completely decked out in full 10.5.5s. It's going to be 104 for 10.4.4s, and so on and so forth. Now,
That's not quite right, sorry. I think 100 is full 10.4.4s. And then getting the 0.5s gets you a little bit extra.
Yeah, I'm 101. And
okay. So 10.4.4 is full 10.4s is basically gives you a full 100, and then equipping it to 0.5 gives you that 101, 102, 103, and 104 and 105 eventually.
Yes.
That what you're
Yep.
saying? Okay, cool. So that's why my gear is at 100.
Your chat channel is trying to tell you that.
Now, as it doesn't show up when you inspect someone, maybe it's only going to be well. There's two possibilities I can see. One is that it's only a tool for you, the player, for working out upgrades for yourself, or maybe it may be integrated into the group finder. Maybe they have plans for that.
They could do. I don't think it will though. On the Otter stream, Tilty said he had no plans to put in an automatic group finder as he liked the more intimate feeling of players having to actually talk to each other.
Yeah. But you know what? How helpful do we actually, or even effective, how do we think this will actually be to new players versus veteran players? Do you think that people are going to start using it, or the vet players still be calling out?
as long as it's
full
not made
10.4s?
public, it won't be that bad.
And I think the new players, if they're either not interested in glyphing things appropriately, which would mess them up over the long run, but if they're not interested or if they have trouble kind of grasping how everything works together, I could see it at least giving them a start. Okay, this piece is in general better than what I have.
I
Well,
don't think
the idea.
experienced players will really use it at all, to
No.
be honest, because they know what they're doing. But I think the newer players will use it as just a part of their repertoire of tools of working out whether something is worth equipping or not.
I
As
think-
Lindy2222 says on the chat, group finder based on gear score equals not a smart move.
And I agree with what Orca's saying. There's so many variables in this game. I'm not entirely sure that one thing will make a big difference. I mean, I know when I first started playing, I just knew that QL1 was going to be, QL2 was going to be better than QL1, QL3 was going to be better than QL2. So I'm not sure about being a new player. But it's maybe very hard for us to put ourselves into the position of being a new player again and what it was like.
You do have a point. Go Gig.
I think this has really been brought in for the new player just to make it that much more familiar when coming over from other games.
Yeah, it's very difficult for us to put ourselves back there. And I know that I've been saying that to a lot of people who are veterans, and when they've been talking about the changes, we're so maybe immersed in the game, and we know what. Well, some of us do, struggling with that sometimes. But I think that for me, it's difficult to do that, to go back.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, and for me, even when I try to go back, I had a lot of spare time and I went through the forums for hours. Not everybody wants to have to read a bunch of forums, to start getting into a game.
Well, the thing is, they've also, let's not forget that they've also redone the drops that we get now in Kingsmouth and the Solomon Island in general. So it's kind of easier to figure out if something is, better than before, because what new players seem to have had an issue with is determining whether, for example, a part of the same kind of stat, like defensive one, evade and block, how does it relate to one another? Is 100 plus 100 evade better than plus 50 block? Stuff like that. So while it may help, this is basically for new people starting in the game, trying to understand how to progress in the game and how to make it easier for themselves to be able to kill things faster when they're soloing the game content, even though there's based on our try last Saturday with our newbie alts, it has been nerfed quite a bit, so people should have no problem when it comes to that. But as they progress in the game, they'll get more proficient in figuring out the stats that they actually need, like hit, then pen, then crit, if they're a DPS. Of course, if you're a healer, you're going to go for crit, but do you equip a lot of heal stuff when you solo? No, because, well, you're not going to heal it to death. Also, someone else mentioned that tanks might equip a lot of health pieces. Yeah, you also don't really want to overdo it. You don't want to start equipping 11,000 even for nightmare dungeons. There's absolutely no point. The more health you have, the less efficient you are at killing things, the less damage you end up doing. So as always, it's going to be helpful, in my opinion, to new players who are joining the game and who are progressing through the game in the first part of the secret world, and then by the time they get to end game, they will have already picked up on the game speak, so to speak, of the TSW, and they will learn the ropes and learn what everything is and how it works. And I don't think gear score is going to matter at all when it comes to end game.
Yeah, I've been running around a little bit with a new alt, and it hasn't had much of an impact. The fusion rating, the gear score, you can still see that this is QL1 to a QL2. It gives me extra attack power, gives me extra health. I go with that one. The fusion rating, I still don't understand it, and I'm not sure how much of a help it is to new players.
It's been interesting to me with some of my alts. The one I started to try out the new stuff, I did not use any of my my item store gear, but my other two alts I did, and that starts you off with blue quarter level I can talk. Blue QL1 gear, which is a really weird number, and if nothing else, it's been interesting comparing what a blue 1 compares to, green 2, 3, whatever.
When you go over your gear, it does tell you plus minus what you would go up, what you would go down. Anyway, but for me, what might have been more helpful for me, this was a revelation when I first started playing, is whatever QL my abilities were, my gear could be one level higher. So if I was, say, QL5 on my hammer, I could actually equip a QL6 piece. And that was a revelation to me, that I could actually go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of little things like that that just click, and then you understand it.
Yeah, I got to QL5 and realized I could actually, put in pieces that were QL6. And that made a difference. After I'd managed to buy all of the QL5 blue gear from the Venice men and Savage Coast, I realized I could actually go up a level.
You know what made a difference for me? Understanding that, holy crap, I need to invest more SPs in my talismans, because I was investing in my weapons. So my weapons were quite powerful, but the rest of my gear was shitty because I didn't invest in my talismans. So I still wasn't doing a lot of damage.
That's a really good point, Atida. And also invest in your major, invest in your minor, and then invest in your head. Because your major and minor obviously have got 3 pieces there. So you're going to get the maximum skills there. And
Yeah.
that, it's little things like that, I think, as you're going through the game, that really, really help you. A fusion rating, I'm not quite sure how valuable that would have been for me as a new player. But again, I say, it's very hard to go back to being a new player again when you've come so far.
Yeah,
I
because
think
the
you're
thing is,
right.
you know it all.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
it all. Gray, I think you even posted on the forums that, your experience gearing up, and you've geared up, like all the way geared up, several alts as well. And
Yeah, I've got 5 all at Nightmare Gear.
yeah, like you said yourself, for you, what was it? Crunch Time, Blue Mountain, Egypt? That
Yeah,
part?
yeah.
When you first went through it, but when you went through it on your alts, it was easy peasy.
It was also, I mean, the crunch time for me also wasn't necessarily, upgrading talismans and that. I gathered that, but, pretty straightforward. What got me was making sure I had enough hit rating and trying to work out how much hit rating I needed for each zone.
Yeah.
I think my biggest was getting. I got that you could use passives from the entire circle, but I wasn't really comfortable doing that for the longest time. And I still remember I was talking in Sanctuary, and Sariti actually was the one who recommended at one point that I get Gross Anatomy as soon as I could. And that was the coolest thing ever once I got it.
Gross Anatomy and Bloodsport. Oh,
Yep.
baby.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to easy mode.
Yeah, especially for scenarios. Yes, those are pretty cool combo. Gross Anatomy, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is an elite passive ability, and Bloodsport is basically both of them deal with afflicts. One afflicts with extra damage, and Gross Anatomy just amplifies that.
Not quite. Bloodsport does every single time you hit, you get an afflict. It's only a small afflict, but it's every single time you hit. And Gross Anatomy is every single time you apply an afflict, it does a big hit. Every single time an afflict expires, it does a big hit. So with those two working in conjunction, it's just big hit, big hit, big hit, big hit, big hit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I
baby.
said that one amplifies the other, because they work off of each other.
Yeah, and they can both crit and pen. So in my build, for example, my Soulwing build, Gross Anatomy gets me an extra 200 damage every single attack I make,
Nice.
which is useful.
Mm-hmm. Very. Now, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little about the next Green Gear only tournament scheduled for March 28th. How is that coming along?
Yeah, Audrey's posted quite a fair bit, including a dedication to myself as well. And he's gone into quite a bit of a post and role play. And it's just people are signing up for it. I would thoroughly recommend people go and join it. Yeah, it's not dependent on having full 10.5 or whatever your effusion rating is in purple gear. This is a green gear only tournament, quite popular, and there's quite a lot of signed up for this.
Yeah, so it
I'm
is
trying to
happening
find the prizes.
So it's happening in the Soul Fight Club on the 28th of March, 2015. So that is not this coming Saturday, but the one after.
Yeah, and it's 9 a.m. EST as well. I wish Ardy would put in like a post that just maybe had like the crucial information rather than a full page here, because trying to scroll through it's quite there's quite a lot there. Anyway, the full instructions are in it's a sticky on the PvP forum site, and there's going to be 3 competitions going on. There's going to be the fashion show as well. So and it will tell you exactly what the theme of the fashion show is. And I believe it's going to be like an 80s themed fashion show.
Oh.
The I'm Going Slightly Mad fashion show. There's the usual last man standing as well as the main competition, the 1 versus 1.
Yeah, and there is something specific, just like with the last one. This one is restricted to mid-range weapons only, right? So you can only use active skills from pistols, shotgun, and elementalism, and of course the miscellaneous tree.
Yeah, that's right. And I know that the events we're looking at whether or not blood should be included or excluded, but I believe it's still excluded, blood.
Yep, it is. Yeah, at least from the posts
I've read,
under the forum thread. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there's been any change in that.
Okay, so it is restricted to green gear only. So that's going to be QL10 green. There will be no augments, however. Auxiliary weapons are included for this tournament. They weren't included for the last one, if I'm not mistaken, or I could be.
Well, Auntie, I've just they're restricting the tournament to green gear only, no augments. However, we will be including aux weapons for this one.
Yep.
So
Yep. Alrighty, so that's going. I'm sure it'll be a really big success because every tournament, PvP tournament that the PvP events team is organizing has always been very, very successful. So yeah, definitely, if you're interested in PvP, but you kind of go into PvP whichever of the 3 zones you go into in game, and you kind of maybe get your butt handed down to you quite often.
Well, what I
and
would
you
say
don't
to
feel
this-
that you're. Go
Sorry,
for it.
Antida. I was just going to say, Antida, this is not restricted to PvPers because it's not looking for purple gear. It's
Yeah.
a green gear only tournament, and you can buy that at the auction house, very reasonably priced. So
You can
get
go
your
and farm for 15 minutes and you'll probably get it.
Totally, and you get the bonus of having get extra XP out of that, and
Yeah.
some packs as well. So yeah, it's really open to everybody, and come join us, and you will get to meet other PvPers as well. We're not scary and we don't bite. I promise much, but
You do bite,
Yes, you
but you do bite, but yeah, you only bite when you fight. As soon as you stop
Mm.
fighting, you're all the greatest bunch of people.
So join, and like I said, the post is the full rules, and Ardry's mammoth book post is on the TSW PvP forums.
That's right. Alrighty. Anything else that we kind of forgot to mention, or if you guys have gone back to the forum threads?
Issue 11 in April. Just saying.
When's,
Oh yeah, I
when's
heard
issue
something
11?
about that.
Yeah,
It's
I
when's
coming
think
issue
out
it's in
11?
April.
What is
Is
it?
in April?
Called?
Reaping the Whirlwind or something like that.
Is this something about issue 11 in April? I don't know.
Is that April
Yeah.
2006?
2006.
The
dude.
Magic 8 Ball says maybe.
Oh, I did have something else on the new update that I'd been playing around with this last week. The new nightmare areas, which I am mostly a fan of. I like most of the ones I ran through. I am kind of sad about losing some of the ones in Transylvania, though. I will admit that.
I never really liked farming nightmare mobs in Transylvania.
Yeah, I tend to avoid Transylvania.
For some reason, I really liked farming the scarecrows. I'm not sure why, but I liked that area to farm.
Did you have a bad experience with Wizard of Oz when you were young, or?
I must have. No, you know what it is. If you ever read the scary stories to tell in the Dark series as a kid, the illustration to the scarecrow story in that one was one of the ones that freaked me out as a child.
It's funny because a lot of the PvPers have complained about a lot of the farming spots going, because that's normally our pastime while we're waiting for pops. And yeah, and Kingsmouth Airport pretty much probably resembles Heathrow. Yeah, with most of the PvPers there all trying to steal mobs from each other. So it's quite funny. Yeah.
Lindy in chat mentioned, yeah, this moves. I can never say that right, but those guys too, the trolls.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
there have been a
I
few that
do.
have been moved around.
I really miss the quarry though. I miss it.
I like Kaiba01's comment. Alas, poor quarry, we ran you a lot.
We ran it to ground.
But does anybody know the rationale behind that being done?
Yeah, there's a number of, or at least there's one mission that you actually have to go in there and complete the mission. You have to find that filthy Orochi. It's Patient Zero, or I forgot the name of it. You take it in the Urachi camp,
Yeah, I haven't done
and
that
then
in
you go
ages.
on. Then, because I used to encounter a lot of people, kind of, you can see that they're confused, and they're not fully geared, and they're trying to hang around you because at one point, you're like have 10, 15 creatures there, just dragging behind you and killing them, and they're like, "Oh my God, save me!" And whenever you would approach them and be like, "Are you looking for for the filthy Orochi?" It's like, "Yeah, I don't know where it is."
Over this
So
way.
you're going to be their escort.
But do we know the reason why they reduced the farming areas? Maybe it's out there, but I'm not
To-
reading
It was. Go for it, Griff.
Probably the same thing you were gonna say, that it was to get all the nightmare stuff away from the story missions, so that players didn't have to deal with nightmare zones while trying to run the story.
Yep, pretty much. And the thing is, they did, like, for example, in Blue Mountain, Quarry is no longer a nightmare area. They have moved the nightmare area to the coastline, but that in comparison is, yeah, it's inadequate. I miss Quarry. And the thing is, they could make it larger. They could have made that very... almost like a bay, because this is a beach, but if they went further, they could have engulfed that little bay, and people could have had a lot more fun there.
I think what might be interesting to see is how long term it actually affects the in-game economy, because whilst a lot of people farmed, they were selling a lot of signets. So there was a lot of signets available. Therefore, the price of the signets were probably lower. So it's going to be interesting to see long term how that impacts on that, because a lot of people were farming. As I said, it's probably the main source of income for a lot of PvPers was to farm in between pops, and with the result of that, there's less signets coming through. So you might see an increase in signet prices because there are not as many obviously getting picked up, farmed and sold.
Does anyone know what the prices are, for example, for the vexing augment? Because it used to be, at one point in time, it used to be vexing and solid. They used to be quite pricey, going upwards of 400,000 packs. And then they went down to under 100,000. And I'm still holding on to mine. I have both of those at level 5, so I don't need the extra ones. But I refuse to sell them for that. That's a ridiculously low price. I don't know. I haven't checked it today.
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's not trying to sound like a economist or an accountant, but it's just market forces at work. There will be fluctuations and deviations in the market depending on the quantity of stock. But I mean, if things, I do notice that the Secret World devs do pay a lot of attention to the metrics, so I'm hoping that would just be another metric that they are keeping an eye on. Not to get too off topic, but one change I really want to tip my hat to is showing the quests on the map. I love that. Brilliant.
Yeah, the feedback on the maps is just great.
I've still got to clean up my maps because I've got markers for a lot of those quests that now I don't need the markers anymore.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm really liking the fast travel.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that is
and it's
pretty
cheap.
cool.
Really.
Yes.
Oh, I just fast traveled. Oh, I'm out of pocket. I'll just kill something. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Even in
Oh yeah,
Kingsman.
it's so cheap. So cheap.
Yeah, there's a couple of people in the chat going on about the signets. I don't know if anybody remembers when the blue breaching was 25 million.
Oh, that was way
Yeah.
Nice.
back.
Violence was up there too.
Yeah,
And I
yep.
didn't sell them. I
Mhm.
just hoarded them, saved them for
Yep.
later.
So Blue Breach now is coming in at 4 million. And Lacerations actually 6 million. It's overtaken. It's just that these are the things that interest me is to see how the market is going to change with that.
Oh,
So,
Laceration's always been one of the more valuable ones. I normally sell them for around about 8.5 mil.
but I do remember Blue Breaching, maybe what, about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 25 million, easy.
On the fast travel too, I have no idea how much time it actually saves me, but I know it feels so much faster than reset. I really noticed that because I did take a night and I was literally running to each one of the nightmare zones in turn, and it felt so much nicer to fast travel than to stop and reset every time.
I'd agree with that. It's so much easier.
Oh, so Kyber, they've checked the vexing at the auction house. Cheap apparently goes for just under 1 million, and the attuned one goes for 1,675,000. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good price. That I would sell it for.
I think I may have one or two of those actually. Check my bank.
Yeah.
Oh, and something I don't recall us mentioning before that doesn't make a big difference to me, but for new players, I like that they're marking the consumers on your ability bar. I can't speak anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like
the,
I'm like
Builders-
running out of words. Yes.
the little plus icon and the little like
Explosion
Pow
thingy.
icon.
Yeah. Yeah, people
Have
have
you
had some feedback on it on Test Live saying that it should be uniformed. It should be all in one, either up or down, and yeah.
Are you guys not a little bit worried that there's a lot? Whilst we want to keep new players, encourage new players, and give them a really good game experience, and I say we as in, well, players or Funcom, so not a certain element of could go too far.
Too
and
far in what sense?
in so much as that there's just maybe too much. The reason I know that I play this game is because I feel like I'm treated like a grown up. I'm treated like an adult. You know, I can read on my abilities as a builder. I can read my abilities as a consumer. I don't really need an icon to tell me that. So I just wonder how far down the road do you go before it starts to become a bit
Hand
AB
holding.
yeah, hand holding. Yeah, that's suppose the right words for it.
I guess one thought I would have about that is I've always noticed that one of the things the Secret World does is it tends to pull in people who don't normally play MMOs. So there's that specific kind of new player to think about too, not just somebody new to the Secret World, but somebody who has never played an MMO before, but the Secret World sounds awesome.
I don't know. I think the time will tell, because
Yeah.
eventually people learn all of that, and there have been a fair amount of people who have expressed their frustration over different things, even on the forums. So, you know, a lot of them probably didn't even bother with the forums, saying, "Hey,
Well,
I'm frustrated over this. I'm quitting. Bye."
Well, speaking of the forums, there's just a couple of posts I wouldn't mind reading out. One is from Noxter. This is on the game update thread, and it's, I can't honestly tell people that the challenge is one of the strong points of the Secret World like I used to. They may have opened it up to more players, but those players are spoiled for choice. They may instead have vacated their old niche. And in reply to that, Vormaren said, possibly, but if the niche is too small, then vacating is the right decision, regardless of what those of us who fit into that niche might think about it. He's got a point.
Yep, I do agree. I
I
do
agree
agree.
too.
After all,
Yeah.
this is a, you know, public company that needs to make money in order to keep afloat, in order for this game to even exist. So if, you know, not enough players play it, the content is gonna get scarce, the quality might go down, which it hasn't even when they were going through the toughest times, and that's a credit to the development team. So, marking a builder and a consumer doesn't phase me out at all. It's like if it helps someone, more power to them. Would it have helped me? Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. If you want to see something interesting, though, look at the Icon 4 shootout.
Isn't it the same?
Have a look at it. It's the same, but have a look how the little
where
icon.
the thing is placed. Yeah.
Would you prefer a little smiley face?
That would at least be consistent.
I had to go to the ability search and be like, what the hell are you on about? It can only be in one spot. And then I saw it. It was like, oh.
Just as an aside, on the vexing augment thing, Kyber did post that the ones that he found were both attuned. The unattuned ones can go for as low as 350,000. And looking at it, they don't actually require a great deal to attune. It's like 2 robust augment resonators, 60 pure water. So it's not a lot to actually attune them.
It's not. Is it water? Because you need also the glyph. Forgot the name. I forgot the name.
We need 2 attuned robust augment resonators, which I've got like 9 sitting in my inventory, and 60 pure water,
60
and
pure water.
the attuning kit, and that's it.
But you know what? 60 is quite a bit, and it can add up. It
True.
can add up pretty fast. And,
Well, I mean, what gear gives
Water's
water
fairly
again?
easy
Is
to
it
get.
health gear?
Yep.
Yeah, water's one of the
Health gear, isn't it?
easiest to get.
Yeah, dust is a pain in the ass to get. But water, yeah,
Mhm.
I've got tons of that sitting in my inventory.
Or alternatively, you can go into PvP.
and then buy potions
True.
for the marks that you get, and then
And
disassemble.
break them down. Yeah. Again,
I
another
suspect you
income.
may have an ulterior motive with that suggestion.
You just wanna kill more fresh meat.
Oh no, trust me, I'm sure some of the.
Oh, you're
the-
healing.
Yeah, well, no, I've graduated to damage at the moment as well.
After 2 years.
Well, yeah. I keep on saying I'm like Arya in Game of Thrones. I have a list of people I now want to kill who killed me when I was a healer. But yeah, I mean that's again another income for PvPers is breaking down potions and
Mhm.
getting the materials.
Yeah, Audrey was saying in the last few podcasts, last few shows that he was on, that's how he makes a lot of money, because he just sells them in stack of 100. And to be honest, when I purchase something from the auction house, like I need to attune level 5, and it requires, I don't know, earth runes for some odd reason, I never have enough pure ones, and they're used to add a block to items. Maybe because I was tanking before and attuning a lot of the tanking stuff. But oh boy. But yeah, anything that I buy is like in stacks of 100. I don't even bother unless there's a really sweet deal. I do the math before I buy.
There is another really good point brought up in chat back on the builders and consumers, that if you don't like them, you can always turn them off. And I think that's a really good point for a lot of the updates, because players do turn them off if they feel like it makes it too easy. Every once in a while we get a thread on the forums asking how to turn off, all of the mission icons because people want to go in completely blind. So I think the players who do want more challenge, they will turn those off.
Yeah, I looking at the chat. Yeah, I used to have a problem where I did not have enough pure water because of attuning and because of just constantly making potions. And then, you just farm a little bit, go play a little bit of the scenarios and just take the gear and disassemble everything, and voila, you're ready to go again. All right. So I think with this, we've come to the end of tonight's show. Hopefully you found something of an interest in sorry.
In today's
I'm just
episode?
no, I was just scrolling down the show notes, making sure that we covered everything, and then I saw something that I didn't add, and it was like, oh, did I miss something? So yeah, going back to what I was saying, thank you for coming on the show, for joining us live for tonight's show. Hopefully you found something of interest to you. You can always send us your questions, your comments to beyondtsw@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @beyondtsw. And we will do our best to keep you up to speed with everything that is happening in the secret world week after week. We will be here again next Thursday at the same time, at the same place. Until then, have a great time gaming, and we'll catch you next time. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Same bat time, same bat